I'm Omar Oakes, who is editor of The Media Leader, which in old money was called Mediatel News, the news analysis and opinion publishing arm of Mediatel and now SRDS in the US. And with me is Eugenio La Teana, who is head of innovation at Radiovisione, RTL 102.5. And I wanted to speak to Eugenio, and it's actually a really interesting follow-on from the talk you just heard about, is actually what an individual radio media owner has been doing differently in the radio space. So before we get into that, maybe Eugenio, tell the audience about what your role entails as head of innovation.
Yes, my role in terms of head innovation is to try to make something new. I work in radio from 20 years, and I touch several points, from the digitalization of the radio, on the innovation radio, on the digital aspect. I'm also the country manager of Radio Player Italy. But we will try to see what does it mean for us try to innovate. So during this chatting, we have made something new. We have created a new experience into the radio that changed completely the idea. And I think that it's much better to start with the video and then we go on deeply into the discussion.
Yes, Eugenio was very keen to show you what he's talking about with a couple of videos. So if you wouldn't mind, let's see the first one, which will give you a flavor, hopefully.
RTL 102.5, la prima, l'unica radiovisione. 24 ore su 24, sempre in diretta. RTL 102.5, giornale orario.
Buona serata, ben ritrovati da Andrea Salvati. Come abbiamo sentito in chiusura di Password, storica sentenza. E allora, che grande serata, che energia, ciao ragazzi.
Avete sempre mal interpretato voi.
Grazie Davide, ci sentiamo domani come detto con l'ultima puntata dell'Indignato Speciale. Buon lavoro.
Grazie a voi e buona radiovisione a tutti.
Allora, io ho una domanda da farvi.
Vai.
Allora, ognuno di voi...
Torniamo tra poco con la favorizza?
Sì, facciamo anche un chilo di cioccolato se volete.
Il potere di emozionarsi. Il potere della nostra radiovisione. Il potere di essere umani. RTL 102.5. Very normal people.
Thanks very much. I don't know if many of you in the audience speak Italian, but it looked like they were having a great time there. There was a lot going on there. Explain some of the things that were going on there. We saw a lot of live performances. We looked like what was actually maybe quite conventional live broadcast on television.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Well, definitely the idea, it's important to say one thing. We are not a television. So our idea started more or less 20 years ago, when the mobile phone was growing up, so we see a lot of screen, the internet connection was growing also in terms of distribution. And then we sit down on the table and we say, content is very important. The way to use the content is changing. The board that staying on the distribution platform is becoming very closed. So how we can try to do something? The idea is to create a visual experience on the radio, but the important point was not changing the radio. I showed this video. The idea is if you close the eyes, you have to imagine that everything that you listen, sorry for the Italian, but we are Italian radio, is a radio. So I mean that we continue to make a radio, and we create a layer on top of it with the visual content. Why? There are many reasons of that. One is because we think that experience have to be improved, and one of the parts that could be improved is the experience. I mean that with the audio we can use metadata, and it's something that we are doing, because into the car, in other places where you don't have the video, you can have enhanced experience with the visual image. But if you have the opportunity to have a visual monitor and you are in the condition that you can use it, let me make an example. You are in the metro, you are you are making something at home, you have the television, you can listen to the radio with the visual. Which is the difference between the only audio or the opportunity to have the video? Is to add some enrichment. If you see on the video, if you listen to the music, you can also have the video clip. If you are talking with someone, remember the call that the people done on the radio. You still have the call, but you can use some technology like Zoom, some video call. You have the visual part. You make the news, you can have the ticker, you can have the image, you can add value. I didn't show anything about the interaction because we have also a lot of interactivity part into the Radiovisione with the messages that come from our audience that could be showed as a ticker. What means? Means that if you are a speaker, you have not so much time to speak. But if you want that your audience will be part of your content, you can show in overlay the text messages, the picture. It means that they be part of the community. Because it's an important point, I believe that the real value of the radio is the community, the brand community.
So a lot of what we've heard on the talks we've heard so far has been about how radio has the opportunity to passive listening as well as some of the more active elements that you're talking about. So you started off by making it very clear that we are not a television company, but yet a lot of what you've been talking about sounds very televisual, and we're seeing experiments even in the UK in the last year where we've had News UK launch what was Talk Radio, now Talk TV. GB News has now gone the other way, where it started as TV channel, now has radio. So that layering has been happening, as you say. But where's the actual opportunity for inventory? In the same way, we had a lot of talk in the previous talk about all the different inventory possibilities, but when you're doing that layering, don't you get caught in between?
Yeah, I mean that the idea is let the user decide. So it means that the opportunity is to be everywhere. We have to be everywhere. So, and think about simulcast. We are exactly the same content in audio and in video. That is the important part. Some of the examples that I see in my in the past about the experience on the radio on TV, some company try to do something different. They think about TV differently from the radio. So because we are on video, we have to make something that is for the video. No, our idea is we are audio and we add a layer on top. What does it mean? It means that you can maximize the experience. You are everywhere, not only audio. You have something more when you have the screen. And this, in a way, opens the opportunity. And what we sell, we call total audience. And I add a point. Think about the future. I mean that we will see something different also into the car. It's something that it's difficult for me to pronounce. Autonomous drive. Sorry.
Self-driving cars.
Yeah, that's. And okay. In a way, we are modern in terms of media because we can provide visual for someone that can, for example, watching something to the car with a time that is different from sitting on the sofa and watching a movie. Okay, now if I would like to watching a movie, I use something that is on demand. I click a button because this is my time, but I have 2 hours. Our kind of content, the radio kind of content, is something that you can use for 1 second, 1 minute, 10 minutes, and you enjoy the experience from the beginning to the end. And so the same idea, when the time is a variable, the radio approach in terms of audio and audio video is perfect. So I'm quite sure that in the future will be open new kind of opportunity. I don't know if I respond to your question.
Sure, and we don't have a lot of time, but if anyone does have a question for Eugenio, please wave your hand in a rather violent banner and I'll get to you. Okay, so you've been doing this for 20 years, even before we've only in the last few years had kind of super fast broadband and smart speakers and tablets all over the place. What have you found to be the most lucrative and exciting opportunities of what you've done? And maybe what mistakes did you make? What could you have learned from?
I will take two points. First of all, what's happened at the beginning of our story, and what the other media company, the other people that work in our sector, telling you are crazy. What are you doing? The voice is the most important part of the radio. The people love the speaker because they don't know who they are. But at the end, on the magazine, one of the famous was Diffusori di Canzoni, probably owned by Mediaset, was with a picture of the speaker in front of the cover. So it was a no sense. So we go on, and at the end, we also use the idea that, for example, when I show the video, you see the speaker are not dressed like star of TV. They are normal. We would like they are normal because the camera is a passive. We only add an image, so that's the point. In terms of opportunity, we make something new. We create another new kind of advertising element, the lyrics, because, as I told you, everything is simulcast, and one of the problems was, okay, we have a spot on radio, because we receive spot for the radio listening, and we have to put it on TV. How we can do that? Okay, we put the commercial label with a black screen with the commercial, and it was really horrible. And so we tried to invent something new, and the name of this content is Lyrics. If you would like, I can show it.
This is the second video we prepared, is it?
Yeah.
Please roll the video.
Adesso seguo la ricetta, così non sbaglio. Bardamonda, dressa in fiamma, lucida e poi stecca. Che c'è scritto pare turco, non capisco un H. Se non sai che fare per levarti dall'impaccio, scegli la salsa giusta e vai a braccio.
A te che fai sempre del tuo meglio, noi di Mutti dedichiamo il nostro. Prova le salse pronte, la base perfetta per ogni tuo gusto. Mutti, molto più che pomodoro.
Again, not being an Italian speaker, I don't really get this. Explain what the value add is with that.
No, that's sorry. We are Italian. No, and also the tomato comes from Italy. The point is that if you look on this kind of advertising, obviously, it's not the spot that you can see on TV, with the story, with a lot of stuff, because it's a spot made for the radio. But on Radiovisione has some advantages. The picture, okay, is something that is not expensive for the company, and you can communicate something for the radio, and you can have image, and you have the lyrics. And in a way, someone can say it's not so important, but it's very important because audio and something that you can read is more powerful than something that you can also only heard. At the beginning, who buy the advertising from us was, let me say, we don't like, we prefer to have only the audio because we prepare with the agency a lot of image, we create some content, some story, and was, But time by time, all of them start to use this kind of content, and they're very happy. So, okay, the communication on TV is something different from the communication on radio, but they can also have a new form, audio only. Television, normal television, and Radiovisione. Cheap, efficient. So I mean that Radiovisione is something like a new media, in my personal point of view. So it's a way that the radio could be visual.
Okay, very interesting, and we've only got a minute or two left. So you put some big bets on this investment in offering a multi-platform, multi-layered approach. So you mentioned self-driving cars, autonomous vehicles. What big bets are you making, or what are you excited about in terms of an innovation for the next few years? What does everyone need to take back to their office later today, tomorrow, and say, this is what we need to focus on, this is what we need to keep an eye out for?
From tomorrow, they have to sit down, go www.rtl.it or play.rtl.it, and have a look of the Radiovisione, and you have to show that. No, I'm joking. No, the point is that radio is an opportunity, and the value, the part that of our listening that use Radiovisione is big enough for invest into it. The eyes on the logo create brand awareness, strong brand awareness, and have the opportunity to let the user decide and be multimedia, multi-platform, and interactive, open the opportunity to be everywhere. And if you make good content, you have more opportunity than to be only in audio. That's the point. The king is the content. In my personal point of view, technology is enabler of something, kings of the content, but if you have good content and you can extend it wherever, everywhere, it's a good chance to have success.
Great. Unfortunately, that's all the time we had. I really enjoyed that. Please give a big hand to Eugenio La Teana.